what I love about this particular group is it's like the therapists of all my previous participants, which is really nice. So actually in the group, we have people who are either absolute beginners to stand-up comedy, or they may have tried it like a million years ago, and they're really like in the beginner sector. So give us a wave if you're a therapist. Give us a wave if you're a therapist. Okay, awesome. Give us a wave if you'd like to find a therapist. I feel like also okay. So you can see where the bonding might happen there. Lovely. Um, who is new to the Climate Psychology Alliance North America? Who's like here because of the show, but they don't really know about that group? So Ariana's here, Roy's. Okay. So for those of you who do know about the Climate Psychology Alliance, could you put into chat something that you love about it? Or the CPNA CEO, who's fabulous, Rebecca, who sponsored this this collaboration with this course, unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, and I'm going to introduce this fabulous lady named Tony, who's going to step in. But I just wanted to have in chat to be able to share with her, Rebecca, who's the CEO, some of the things that you really love about the Climate Psychology Alliance. The work looks so important and so healing. So I'm seeing connection, community, inspiration. Yes, connection and support. Beautiful. Wisdom. Oh, lovely.
Belina, if
Yes.
it's okay, I can just jump in real quick. I'm Jenny. I'm Rebecca's
Oh,
co-executive director, and
yay.
so
Thank you.
I am here just to, and so I will just share about our organization that we
Please.
are an organization of over 700 clinicians and allied professionals who all just care very, very deeply about this planet and want to be able to support our clients and our communities with that care. And we know that if we get support with that care, it can be turned into loving action. And so, really grateful to see that there are folks who don't even know us here. And I'm going to be on and off camera, but I'm here if people have questions. And thank you so much, Belina and Tony, for jumping in Rebecca's unexpected absence.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jenny. Lovely. So, Tony, who is under again CPA NA, hard for a dyslexic person, two acronyms, CPA NA admin. Tony, tell us a bit about yourself and what's one thing that you love about the Climate Psychology Alliance?
I am an internal family systems practitioner, and I actually used to work for the National Center for Atmospheric Research. And at that time, I was working for a climate change modeling program, and so I was surrounded by a bunch of physical scientists, but I was blending that and the social sciences, and so now I'm fully in the social sciences, and I'm surrounded by people that get it, get the climate change grief and anxiety and distress even more than I do. So it's inspiring, and I'm finding opportunities and just so much learning. So I'm loving it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Um, when I'm not teaching comedy, I also work with different organizations working on climate change projects to stop climate change or to do regeneration. One of the ones that I work with is in Honduras in the rainforest, and it's helping farmers shift from slash and burn farming to organic agroforestry. And I also have this weird and wonderful project that I've done for 8 years, which is helping space scientists to look at how can we help and predict and forecast like humanitarian help from space. So I work from soil to space and everything in between. And I wanted to bring in this stand-up comedy, and I've done it for the last 10 years because there's something beautiful and expansive and loving that happens when we notice patterns from a very human level about what's happening when we try to make the world a better place. So, without further ado, we have a group here that, and they know who they are, that are designated laughers. And the first fabulous act, excuse me, that we have tonight is, or today, sorry for you, is Allison. So, who is Allison's designated laugher? Give us a wave.
Hey, that's me.
Amanda, nice. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. We're having a little swearing in ceremony. So if everybody else could mute, except for Allison, who's about to come up. So unmute you. And if we could have from our class, Andrew and Emily and Karen, if you guys could unmute. But we're going to be the designated laugher. So here's the deal. And thank you, Amanda, for being here. So, Amanda, here's your job, and it's very easy, right? You're here to support your friend Allison. So, if you could raise your right hand, please. If you could say "I," then state your name.
Amanda,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support my friend Allison
to support my friend Allison
and beam her love.
and be her love.
Beam her love, lovely.
Oh, beam her love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You just cleaned my ears out. I love you, Allison.
love you too.
We
Thank
can
you.
tell. Lovely. So, and the last bit of the thing is, and I'm going to be mindful.
And I'll be mindful.
Uh, to let her to laugh. Sorry, this is a little clunky. It'll smooth out for the rest of them. To laugh in the right places,
To laugh in the right places.
and then stop so we can hear the setups of the next joke.
And then stop so we can hear the setups of the next joke.
Awesome. That was an awesome swearing. Okay, so we're going to remove your spotlight. So gorgeous people of assistant. So please keep your mic unmuted. Is everybody ready for your first act? Let's have a big wave. And please welcome to the stage the fantastic Allison.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Allison. I live in Buffalo, New York. I try to help people battle villains that perpetuate the system. I'm a mom, and I'm a pretty laid-back person. I've always been calm, subdued, and laid back even as a kid. I spent hours reading, was the calm peacekeeper between friends, and would sit back and relax, calmly reclined, while I watched other kids running around and climbing on playgrounds like caffeinated, demonic, hyperactive gophers. I was laid back, and I was drawn to comedians with similar sensibilities, like Bobcat Goldthwait, Lewis Black, and Robin Williams. Those guys are calm and quiet, right? Well, maybe not, but they taught me a lot about speaking up for what's right. And every laid-back person has an inner edgy side. Robin Williams was so comfortable with his free spirit, so unafraid to take on challenging topics, and so totally at ease trying things out that might not land with someone. His edginess really drew me out. That balance of being calm, well-meaning, and laid back while having absorbed that edgy energy really helps me now. Because now I'm a mom, and I have a great teenage son who doesn't want me to use his real name, so I'll call him Bob. When Bob was really young, I had to remain laid back when well-meaning people gave me unsolicited parenting advice. There were many times my son Bob was upset about something out in public, crying or yelling or something. And those well-meaning people couldn't handle it when children expressed their feelings. So I would just calmly get at eye level with these people, like you're told to do with a small child. Speak slowly and calmly and say to these people, your feelings are valid. It's okay to have a hard time handling a child crying or yelling. I'm here for you. Or there were times I'd be out at a crowded event, pushing my father in a wheelchair, while my son, Bob, did laps around us, and I would just hope if he ran off into a crowd, a well-meaning person might return him to us. As you can imagine, having my son, Bob, has given me plenty of opportunities to practice being laid back. Bob is a teenager now. A couple of weeks ago, he and his friends were having a great time hanging out while I was relaxed in the basement, and I just had a feeling things were getting a little too rambunctious. Allison, I thought to myself, just relax. What's the worst that can happen? A moment later, I heard a loud and scary crash. I calmly rushed upstairs to find that one teen had literally put his foot through a wall. My wall, in my house. I just told him I was glad he was okay and acted totally nonchalant when he said that was the third time he'd gone through a wall at someone's house.
And you know what? My feelings about this kid's behavior are totally valid. I'll say, though, I felt pretty prepared to deal with challenging parenting situations because I spent the first 7 years out of college at a women's prison working as a therapist. I felt a little out of place there compared to the other employees. I was 21 years old, fresh-faced, laid back, and quiet. And the staff, especially knowing I had never worked at a prison or really anywhere professionally, they tried to scare me. They make it sound like I'm going to meet some tough characters, real villains. My mother told me I had nothing to worry about with any of these people. She said, be yourself, be genuine, stand tall, and you'll be fine. Because my mother was an expert in these matters. She was a suburban accountant who came of age in the 1950s and grew up watching Howdy Doody and MGM musicals. This meant she knew a lot about villains and jaded prison employees. Despite my mother's encouragement, I was still nervous. I never did meet a typical villain, though. I met Deborah, who stayed in touch with me for decades, asking about my family and sharing her journey into grandmotherhood. Victoria, who drew me detailed birthday cards every year with nothing but a ballpoint pen. And Carlene, who trained as a facilitator to help her peers through tough times. In all my years there, though, I never did meet an actual villain in prison. That only happened when one day I was out petitioning against fracking. I came face to face with the kind of person you really want to meet when you're out petitioning against fracking. Someone who ran a fracking company. A fracking executive. When I asked for his signature, wouldn't it have been cool if he signed? He didn't. He just started yelling at me about being against fracking. He was acting like such an entitled lunatic. I knew then I was face to face with a real eco-villain. The kind of villain that should actually be in prison. He kept carrying on about how I was being so unsafe with my child's life, confronting strangers in public. I looked at the dangerous situation I had put my son, Bob, in. He was with his mother, who was holding a clipboard, standing outside a local bookstore. But I mean, if this was dangerous, what was safe? I heard the voice of my mother, and Robin Williams, telling me I had to stand up for myself and not let anyone else tell me what kinds of things are safe. But I have to say, in retrospect, I agree with him. I agree with the fracking executive. It's not safe to know that anywhere you go, you could potentially run into a real-life eco-villain freely roaming the streets. Someone so disconnected from reality, they think it's an actual good idea to destroy the Earth's resources. They think they're doing us a favor. I mean, fracking the Earth's crust with a perforation gun is like taking a jackhammer to a toilet to unclog a drain and getting rich off of that. And this guy was the one walking free on a lovely Saturday morning. My son Bob wasn't even walking when he met his first eco-villain. Most people like us, we think we're dealing with people we can ration with. We think we can explain things, share the right numbers. That's what my mother, the accountant, maybe would have thought too. But someone who doesn't experience guilt at all is not like the rest of us. These oil and gas executives are on a different level. I'm not talking about your Republican uncle who, has a problem with solar panels but gets on the floor and plays with the kids. I'm talking about these oil executives who think they're entitled to what's underground, like demonic, caffeinated, hyperactive gophers. They're different than we are, and we can join forces, get eye to eye with the oil executives and say, our feelings are valid. It's okay that we're having a hard time with what oil extraction is doing to our planet. I'm here for all of us who want a different world. Remember, friends, no need to act like demonic, caffeinated, hyperactive gophers to fight these executives. We can stay laid back. Just follow the advice of my mother. Be yourself. Be genuine. Stand tall. Thank you and good night.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yay! Allison,
Thank you.
Okay, Let's remove my spotlight. Thank you so much, Amanda. You were a great designated laugher. Please, everybody, unmute. And we got Bob right there with a big heart. Yay!
Yay, Allison.
Everybody
That was
can-
awesome.
Woo!
Good job.
Everybody unmute and
Love
let's give a
it.
big applause. Yay!
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank
Allison.
you.
Good job, Allison.
Fabulous. Thank you. And I love the outpouring, and you see why most people have their mics muted when the person is going now, because it just goes nuts. Well done, Allison. That was magnificent. Okay, so just a few more notes. If you could be on a treasure hunt, if there was a particular line that you loved that Allison said, please pop it in chat. And while the person is performing, please don't put anything in chat. So we're gonna, like, in this in-between time, that's where we're gonna, unmute and celebrate and shout out to Bob. Yes, all of those, pop the things in chat. And then when the person's going, let's leave chat alone for a little bit in case anybody is neurospicy and needs to focus. So we have, thank you so much, Allison. We have the next person, Jeremy. And Jeremy, you have Jen. And I think there's a few Jennifers on the call. Yes, hyper caffeinated gophers times 10. Awesome. Yes. Which Jen are you after for your designated? Oh, Jen B. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, what a cool outfit. Okay, Jen B. Okay, awesome. You are going to be sworn in. And hopefully, as we go through this, yes, which and then state your name.
I, Jennifer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to be a great supporter
to be a great supporter
to Jeremy.
to Jeremy.
I will laugh out loud
I will laugh out loud
to anything I find funny.
to anything I find funny, even this,
And make sure that the audience
and make sure that the audience
can hear the setup of the next joke
can hear the setup of the next joke.
from him. Awesome. You are sworn in. Thank you so much, Jen B. All right. So, Jeremy, are you ready? And let's see. Let's keep the same people, everybody else mute, except for the few people from our course. Jen B, you keep unmuted as well. Everybody else, please mute, but laugh, because we can feel it. Even if you're muted, if you laugh, we can feel it. So please keep that going. Gorgeous people of Sustainable Stand Up. Welcome to the stage, the fabulous Jeremy. Woo! Yeah.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And my name is Jeremy, and as a climate-aware, climate-obsessed, climate-distressed existential therapist, I often ask myself the question, why am I here? It's a valid question, right? Like, why am I here on planet Earth as opposed to another planet like Jupiter or Portland? Now, when I was a kid, the answers to that question of why am I here came in the form of a quote that my parents cut out and pasted on a bookshelf right underneath my collected works of Dr. Seuss, Dr. Freud, and Dr. Ruth.
Woohoo!
And the quote was, some men look at things and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not. And that was very influential to me. It fueled my imagination of what was possible. I conducted chemistry experiments in the refrigerator, only one of which was radioactive. I used flannel shirts hung on hangers and then put on clothing lines to put on my production of the off Broadway show of Arthur Miller's Death of a Crucible. And I also tried to contact extraterrestrials through dialing random combinations of telephone numbers on the telephone keypad. One sec. Hello? Hello? Chewbacca? Is that you? And when did you learn Russian? Anyway, after a while of these kind of exploits and about a 6-figure long distance bill, my parents changed the quote in my room And they changed it to something that I later discovered was by John F. Kennedy. And the quote is, "The highest duty of the writer, the artist, and the composer is to shut the hell up and do whatever mommy and daddy say." It's very inspiring. And I did my best to do that. I did my best to do that. Now, I just want to acknowledge that that is a recycled joke. As part of my efforts to help Mayor Mamdani and New York City reach its 2040 zero waste goals, I am recycling a joke that I first used about like 7 years ago. That's right, I move at the speed of a slow motion sloth on tranquilizers, and this is my second stand-up performance in about a decade. So, kind of moving slow. But sloth or not, it's important to understand the mechanics and the infrastructure of recycling. So let's just take a journey and trace this joke through the recycling process. So first, the joke was picked up by the sanitation department, taken to a materials recovery facility where it was separated out from tinfoil hats, transformed into small plastic pellets, and then recreated in a more debased form. It no longer includes the original references to Shake Shack and Picasso. But the good news is that this joke is still recyclable. So if you take it to a grocery store in Connecticut or New York, in New York you get 5 cents, in Connecticut you'll get 10 cents. Now, that fact makes me wonder what in the number 2 high-density polyethylene plastics recycling bin is going on in Connecticut that you get double your money for recycling. Now, if it was New Jersey or Staten Island, I would assume there was some kind of kickbacks involved. But Connecticut, I don't understand. The state is a mystery to me. It's like a green elephant you can only see when you're wearing meta glasses during an ayahuasca ceremony. Yeah, well, taking inspiration from 2 of my favorite childhood books, The Cat in the Hat and Freud's Civilization and Its Discontents. Yep, it's a great book. I have created a new kind of therapy, which I call Uber archetypal neo-eco-Freudianism with green eggs on the side. Now, I'm not a fool, okay? I'm not a fool. And I understand that the name of that modality is quite a mouthful. So I've essentially created an acronym out of it, which is UBANFWGE on the side. Yeah. And as an integrative therapist, I sometimes use it with CBT and EMDR. Now, in the UBANFWGE on the side paradigm, the archetypal mother is planet Earth, and the archetypal father is the authoritarian figure. And in this situation, I am the cat in the hat trying to do climate-aware play therapy with 2 children. Now, meanwhile, the children are guided by a reactionary recalcitrant fish who is secretly a mouthpiece for Russian state media. And the paradigm shifts. The paradigm shifts. Let's see what the next paradigm is. Let me just remember.
We love you.
Of course, it's a big shift. Now, naturally, as I think about all this, I think to myself, taking this paradigm, the next natural step in my reflection process is to think about EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. Zeldin is a one-man toxic waste evangelist whose origin story begins in a Superfund site of DDT, asbestos, and glyphosate, also known as Long Island. Now, based on my armchair expert evaluation, which involves many, many hours on Reddit and 0 client time whatsoever, I have determined that Zeldin resolved his Oedipal conflict by choosing the archetypal father over the archetypal mother, right? My theory is that he read the same JFK quote as I did about listening to your parents, but something got lost in the fog of neurotoxins, and he only got the part about doing what daddy says. Yeah. Authoritarian, do what daddy says, all that stuff.
Yes.
Now, Zeldin led the EPA's move in April to rescind the endangerment finding, which is a determination that the EPA has the authority to regulate greenhouse gases. And that shift was a big and a major devastating hit for all of us. People in my community, my clients and I have been grieving. It's been a tough time. But there is some hope. And it's not just because of Ayanna Elizabeth Johnston and Catherine Hayhoe. Um, I've heard through the genetically engineered grapevine that the EPA is going to change and update the standards for tailpipe emissions. And surprisingly, they're going to be much more stringent and they're going to be big fines. Just one small shift in the code that makes it illegal for plants to generate oxygen. Yeah. And there's going to be also a carve out for coal-powered cars. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, as we barrel past global temperature record after global temperature record, I weirdly maintain this connection with the younger version of myself who has this quixotic childhood perspective. That younger version of me with his off, 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 off Broadway production of A Streetcar Named Caligula is very much alive inside of me. I still conduct refrigerator experiments, and now I use quantum entanglement and mushroom extracts. And when I get the right combination of random numbers on my telephone keypad, I still do talk with Chewbacca, who has recently learned to speak fluent French, joined the Extinction Rebellion, and has completed a climate psychology degree at Naropa University. Now, Chewbacca and I have devised a plan to destroy the Death Star. Excuse me. Chewbacca and I have devised a plan to do ecotherapy with members of the current administration, including the Zeldin, everybody there. And in this ecotherapy, we're going to take them from the golf course into the rainforest, and where they'll experience the miraculous beauty of flora and fauna and become enthralled by the beauty and the stunning nature of life's complexity. As part of this utopian vision, I still am developing uber archetypal neo-eco Freudianism on the side, and I'm using it in sessions with clients and to catalyze in the renaissance of Earth Mother and loving. And as part of this, I am not remembering the next step in my joke. Of course. I am literally tilting at windmills, catalyzing the renaissance of Earth Mother and trying to do my best to convince influencer fish about the merits of heat pumps and balcony solar while I do climate-aware therapy with vegan eggs and ham on my induction stove.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not going to lie. I, have to sometimes pause and ask myself, how much can one UBAN FWGE therapist do in the current moment when it seems like the forces of Russian state media are aligned against us? But I have these messianic visions of saving the planet through some revolutionary intervention that brings everyone together in a kumbaya yurt to address the polycrisis of climate change, microplastics, and tradwife podcasts. In this vision of the future, we'll band together to build passive houses, stop needlessly burning fossil fuels, and create a world in which no one in any ecosystem, no one in any community experiences negative ecological, environmental, psychological, intellectual, spiritual impacts in our environmental present and future. We'll release a solar-powered avatar of Bill McKibben onto the web, and then watch as the renewable energy systems sprout like so many dandelions on a native plant, pesticide-free lawn. Now, this particular kind of megalomania relates to a condition that Dr. Ruth identified when I called into her talk show at the age of 9. She said to me, you are one effed up cookie. All right. I mean, I'm not going to get into the specifics of why DSM-5 diagnoses are problematic, but I will say this. This effed up gluten-free cookie has many delicious morsels of altruism in him. And I invite you to connect with the delicious morsels of altruism in you and join me in tilting at and uncanceling windmills, communing with flora and fauna, and addressing the polycrisis with tireless love, kindness, compassion, wisdom, humor, and creativity. And so, in case you do move at the pace of a slow-moving sloth on tranquilizers, that's okay. It just gives you more time to appreciate the scenery. With that, I wish you a good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the show. And I hope to see you at my next performance in 2036.
Yay! Beautiful.
Awesome, awesome.
Good job, Jeremy.
Well done, Jeremy.
Well
Well done.
done.
Well done, Jen B. And we had an additional designated laugher, which was the cat. What's the
Teddy
cat's
the
name,
cat.
Jen?
And my daughter, Pia.
Round of applause for Jeremy. Please put into chat one of the lines that stuck with you, the green eggs that have those so much. Lovely, lovely lines. Okay. We are looking for Corey. Corey, who is here for Jessica. Who is, yes. Okay. Are you in Montreal, sir?
I am in Montreal. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, we can.
Yes,
I used to
great.
live there. That's why I thought it's
Oh,
very
nice.
cool that you're there. Okay. So gorgeous people. This is Jessica's designated laugher. So please raise your right hand. Okay. So I, and then your name,
I, Corey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to awesomely support
to awesomely support
my friend Jessica.
my friend Jessica.
Awesome. I will laugh out loud
I will laugh out loud
at her fabulous jokes.
at her fabulous jokes.
You are sworn in. Thank you very much, Corey. Okay, so we are going to remove your spotlight. Dun, dun, dun. And we are going to find Jessica. Okay, so Tony, do you want Jessica to jump up and down? Would you like to find her?
Could you not? Where are you?
Jessica?
Here we go. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, so gorgeous people of Sustainable Stand Up, please welcome to the stage the fantastic Jessica. Yay! Woo!
Woo!
Yay! Woo! Keep it going. Keep it going. Lovely.
Let's go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica, and I'm coming to you from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I'm a therapist, I'm a mom, and I am a superhero. And my life involves a lot of crying. From a young age, I realized I was a tear fairy. It's a niche superhero. I would run around the playground helping anyone who was crying. When Derek skinned his knee, I'd be right there consoling him. When Sarah and Jana were fighting, both screaming and bawling at the same time, I'd be meaty. And when Sarah was hanging upside down on the monkey bars and she accidentally peed on Jared, building a sandcastle underneath the monkey bars, I said, Jared, it's okay. Now you have a real sandcastle. You've got a moat. Jared, it's a waterfront property. I helped those who were crying because I didn't have any friends. I didn't have anything else to do at recess. And I also did this because my mom was not so keen on crying. She used to sing me this lullaby. Ay, 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 canta y no llores. English, that's I I sing and don't cry. How many people here know that song? Yay!
No.
Got some Latinos in the audience. Some Latinos and other very cool people. You know what us Latinos know? Crying is not an emotion. It's a problem. A problem with a musical solution. Canta y no llores. As I got older, every time I cried, my mom would say, "Ay, Jessica, no seas tan dramática. I should never have put you in that acting summer camp, acting crying. Spoiler alert, my mom tried to clamp down on my normal human emotions, backfired. It made me into a tear fairy, hyper focused on the tears of others. As I grew up, I refined my tear fairy tendencies. I got a BA in the sociology of social change, and I started working full-time as a social justice warrior on Facebook, unpaid. I posted every day about injustice, the poor labor conditions of migrant workers, the pervasive nature of racism and sexism, how hard it is, how inaccessible it is to find a product for this Latina poof. I cried every day about injustices as I doom scrolled with my Haagen-Dazs ice cream and macaroni and cheese. It was great. Buying my mom and making the world a better place at the same time. And to really stick it to my mom, I became a therapist.
Woo!
To my surprise, even in therapy, tears are not well viewed. They told us in grad school, do not cry with your clients. I mean, it's unnatural. For any of you out there who are in therapy, please know that us therapists, we want to cry with you about the justices of the world. We are touched by your experiences. It's just that we trained for many years to skillfully only let one tear drop per session, and only in an exceptional circumstances. We were trained to communicate to you, I don't cry. You do. I've got my shit together. And if you continue to pay me $175 an hour, one day you will too have your shit together. And let just one tear skillfully drop down your face only in exceptional circumstances, which with this US administration is every single day. Therapy is also about empathy. And when I was 39 years old, something happened that gave me a lot of empathy for my own mom. I became a mom. And as a mother, there is so much crying. My daughter, Alejandra, is 6 years old, and she wasn't invited to Stephanie's birthday party. I mean, my heart. How could Stephanie do this to me? And raising a daughter who's daddy's little girl, it sucks. I organize her play dates. I help her with her homework. I cook her healthy food that my picky little eater loves to eat. And then daddy just comes in at the end of the night, does a little bit of rough play. And she's like, oh, daddy, you're the best. Mommy's being so mean, making me do homework and eat broccoli. Injustice of it all. Excuse me for a second as I go to my room and I do that dramatica thing my mom is always complaining about. But I have to tell you, my daughter's really sweet. Already at 6 years old, she cares deeply about equity and inclusion. She's half Argentinian and half Sikh, half Jewish. No, sorry. She's half Argentinian and half Indian, half Jewish and half Sikh. There aren't two of her. It's just that the Argentinian part is Jewish and the Indian part is Sikh. And one day we were playing dreidel, which is this Hanukkah game with a top and lots of chocolates. And her dad got sheen, which means you lose all your chocolates. Now, being Sikh, he didn't know how to do this. So I gleefully reach over, take his chocolates, and put them into the middle. And she loses it. She just starts bawling. It's not fair. You took all of Daddy's chocolates. And then she gives him all of hers. Here, Daddy, I don't want you to go hungry. Hungry? I mean, okay, we do have some epigenetic history here. 36% of Argentinians are severely to moderately food insecure. And in India, that's even higher. La 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 la. Yay! Yay! Intergenerational trauma aside.
Yes.
Alejandra doling out justice with tears and chocolates has this mama really proud. Tears are healing. There's a whole universe in each tear. Cortisol, the stress hormone, leaves with your tears. Stress is literally leaving your body. And I have been crying a lot lately. And as a mother, I'm trying to be a multitasker. So I want to put these tears to good use to try to reduce the injustices in the world. So I've been fantasizing about this crying kind of activism. Let's cry. Hear me out. Let's cry so much that we drown out the oligarchs, MAGA, and the climate denialists. Let's drown their offices with our emails, our phone calls, and our tears. Oh, it's hard to not believe in climate change now with all this flooding in your office. Let's drown out their policies, keep them so busy running home to change their tear-soaked clothing that they can't have time to keep putting these repressive policies and laws. They just don't have the time for it. We're just going to turn the table. No, it's like they get to the office. Oh, fuck. The crying activists are back. They teared us again. I'm all wet. Cancel my afternoon. I have to go home and change my clothing. We're just turning the tables, keeping them distracted, busy, completely overwhelmed by the absurdity of how we operate. That's just how tear fairies roll. Let's all be some tear fairies and go to the places that need us, both in here and out there. Thank you and good night.
Woo!
Woo! Yes.
Tear fairies. Woo!
Yes.
Awesome.
Woo!
All right. Let's
Beautiful.
do this. Beautiful, Jessica. Let's everybody, if you could unmute and give Jessica a big round of applause. Well done.
Hey, nice
Yay.
job. Nice job.
Beautiful. Lovely. Please pop in a chat. I don't cry, you do. There we go. Karen's leading the way. Pop one line in there that you really, really liked. Fantastic. How y'all doing? We're about halfway through the show. We got 3 more gorgeous people. Karen, we're looking for Ariana. Wait, I think I've interacted with Ariana before. Where is she? Hang on. Can you give us a wave, Ariane? There you are. Yes, you got the R in front of your name. Yes, hi. Nice to see you. Okay, so you are our next designated laugher. If Alice and Jeremy and Jessica, you could keep your mics on as well, and everybody else mute, please. Okay, so lovely to meet you. So, Ariana, if you could raise your right hand, please.
Wait, how do I don't know how to do it all. I have my own Bible here.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
I got it.
This is
I'm ready.
hardcore. That's awesome.
Okay. So,
and then state your name.
I, Ariana Katz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support my friend
to support my friend
and laugh out loud
and laugh out loud
at stuff I find funny,
at stuff I find funny,
letting her shine throughout this audience.
letting her shine throughout this audience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ariana. You are sworn in. Fantastic. Okay. Lovely. Thank you, Tony. Karen, if you could give us like a wiggle or a wave so Tony can find you. You got it? Okay. So gorgeous people. And we're going to, as we introduce her and she gets the mug thing going, we're going to keep whooping and hollering until she's ready for us. I say, so gorgeous people of Sustainable Stand Up, please welcome to the stage the fantastic Karen. Yay! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Keep it going! Keep it
Woohoo!
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, people of Zoomland. My name is Karen Taylor. I'm a clinical social worker. I studied Russian history and literature in college, and I had a pivotal introduction to the concept of death. Now, who here loves life?
Yeah.
Yeah, the miracle of life, your own life, the wild diversity of life on Earth. Me, I've always loved animal life. When I was really little, but old enough to be nostalgic, I asked my parents what my first word was, and they said it was cat. Oh, cute, right? Right? To this day, I don't actually know if my first word was cat or if that's just what they said to me because they intuited how very upset I would have been if it had been anything else. So I love animals. My parents do the logical thing and read me a lot of books about animals. And at first, initially, Charlotte's Web was a perfect fit. Talking animals, barnyard shenanigans, the little girl named Fern that I can live through and be jealous of. So we're reading along. It's going great. And then, yeah, I don't want to spoil an almost 75-year-old book for some of you, but Charlotte dies. Charlotte, at the end of Charlotte's Web, the children's book, she dies. And then it's just nighty night. Enjoy being left alone in the dark for the next 8 hours. Maybe some poor planning on my parents' part. Or maybe they just intuited that I was going to become a climate-aware trauma therapist, helping me to build my tolerance young. So, either way, I was still a little kid, and little kids like to hear their favorite stories over and over and over again. So I went headfirst into denial. I did ask my parents to read Charlotte's Web to me 10 more times or so. I just made them skip the death part. So just to ensure all my colleagues out here who might have the licensing board on speed dial, I don't bypass the hard things anymore. I started overcorrecting for that way back when I was in college. I studied Russian history and literature with a minor in Russian language, all very well known for a lot of death and darkness. And yeah, it was, one of those typical liberal arts majors that some like to blast as being completely irrelevant to the job market, which is a complete truth. My disappointment, no one wanted to pay me to read Tolstoy in translation or opine about how Russians in the post-Soviet period had mistaken capitalism for democracy or converse at a sixth grade level of Russian language proficiency. But I did learn a lot that I still find so useful to this day. For example, there are 3 different verbs in Russian that can all be translated as to try. Попробоваться is an experimental kind of try. Like, here, try all these different salads composed of boiled vegetables, pickles, and mayonnaise. Попробуйте. Стараться is trying with all your effort. Like when Putin smiles. And plytatsa might be the most Russian verb in the entire Russian language. Plytatsa is the Eeyore try. Sure, I'll try, but it's not going to make a difference. All these different words that mean to try, but we only have this one word in English. How are we going to try to keep global temperatures from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius if we don't know what kind of effort we are making? If the activists are staratsaing, but the politicians bought off by the oil executives are plutasing, are we all going to end up boiled vegetables? And I don't really want to get into the applicability of Russian history to the current day. But let's just say, hypothetically, that I chose to focus on the Stalin era. And hypothetically, I wrote a thesis comparing Stalin's charismatic cult of personality, his omnipresent gaslighting, and his proclivity to reign through terror, to the tactics of child abusers. I wrote that in 2007, about 1937. And now it's almost 2027. Hypothetically. And I know I was a kid who loved to hear the same stories over and over again, but that's not my favorite story. That's not anyone's favorite story. Some poor planning on the part of the Heavenly Father and or Divine Mother? Or do they want to make us all become trauma therapists? Luckily, studying Russian literature introduced me to my favorite ever poem, and it's really helped me through a lot of things. It's called A Better Attitude Toward Horses, and it tells the story of a horse who falls down on an icy street and then is laughed at by all the passersby. And then the horse, she starts to cry. Stay with me. I know it's a risky premise for animal lovers. So the narrator is the one person, the narrator of the poem is the one person who doesn't laugh at the horse. He approaches, he gets eye to eye with her, and he's overcome with какая-то общая звериная тоска, some kind of shared primal anguish. Very Russian. And at the absolute apex of the poem, he shares with her these beautiful, profound words of kinship. Baby, we're all a little bit horse-ish. Each one of us, in our own way, is a horse. Yeah, a lot is lost in translation. I swear it sounds 37 times more beautiful in the original version. And just for anyone worried that this poem about fallen horse is going to be another Charlotte's Web situation, I do have good news. At the end, the horse revives. She picks herself up, she trots off, and she's renewed in her belief that it is worthwhile to live and to work is worthwhile. Touching, right? In a really Soviet kind of way. So whenever I'm facing a really difficult reality, like the moral injury inherent to living within hypercapitalism, the 70% decline in wildlife populations since 1970, or the absolute hardest thing I have to face as a therapist, writing up my therapy notes. I recite this poem to myself, and I'm renewed in my resolve. And so my clients can come to me with their grief and their trauma and their fears about the direction that the world is taking. And I can get eye to eye with them and feel our shared primal anguish as interconnected beings of this beautiful world, and say to them, you know, each one of us, in our own way, is a horse. Thank you all.
Good job.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Nicely done. Okay. All right. Gorgeous people. Let's unmute yourself. Let's give a big round of applause for Karen. Yay.
Great job.
Beautiful. Awesome. We are all horses. I love the jump between, like it sounded like the tear fairy and the horse thing. There's a link there. There's lovely links across the sets. Okay. We got two more. We are looking for Emma. Where is Emma? Haha. There's me. Where's Emma?
Hello.
Aha. Wait, I hear you. There we go. Wingman. Oh, I love it. Okay. You are a wingman. Okay. So, hello, Emma. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
So, you are the designated laugher for Emily. I'm very excited. Are you in Boston as well, or where are you?
I am not. I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta, very cool. Okay, so could you please, and yes, sorry, there's two things going on at the same time. Please, if you haven't put your favorite line for Karen, please go in chat, but let's swear Emma in, so please raise your right hand. So and state your name.
I, Emma,
do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To support my friend Emily.
To support my friend Emily.
And laugh out loud.
And laugh out loud.
At cool things she says.
At cool things she says.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Emma. You were sworn in. Okay, so gorgeous people. Now wait, Tony, where are you? Tony, you got, okay. Gorgeous people of Sustainable Stand Up, please welcome to the stage the fantastic Emily. Yay! Woo! Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Woo!
Hi, my name is Emily. I am a knitter. I'm an aunt, and I am not a therapist, but I've been to therapy. What I am is a radical woke professor. So I get to teach creative writing to undergrads, which is awesome. But I'll admit that AI does have me worried. It's like these days, it's like AI is like a 6-year-old playing teacher, dancer, and baker all at once. Like, it's a quiet morning, I'm sipping my coffee, I'm reviewing my students' discussion posts, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a chatbot pops in to say, would you like me to make that into a lesson plan? Like, I'm like, who even let you in here? You clicked accept 37 days ago. And now it's leaping around the room saying, look what I can do. I can optimize the learning objectives of fresh metaphors. I can turn your syllabus into a ballet. Hungry? Try this muffin I made from you for flame retardants, polyfluoroalkyl gas, and the sweet, sweet tears of democracy. And then it's running around the room, turning on all the taps, shouting, I'm learning so quickly. I'm going to take your job. I'm going to take your job. And I'm yelling, stop! You're making a mess of my living room. You're making a mess of this planet. The thing is, and the problem is, AI is not all toxic muffins. It's getting better, alarmingly so. I worry that someday soon, teaching creative writing in the age of AI is going to be like insisting that we all have to knit our own sweaters in the age of fast fashion, or our own outfits, right? So I keep honing, and we can agree, right, that you can become a fully functional adult in this country without even knowing a basic cast on. I like to knit, but you can get by, as it turns out. So I just have to keep honing my arguments about why my students have to learn to write from their brains, even when there's a machine that can do it for them, while spying on their hopes and dreams in order to foster intellectual and emotional dependence. But if you ask the federal administration about the problem with higher education, they'll say that it's the universities who are indoctrinating the youth with radical woke ideology. Like, for example, I teach nonfiction writing, with facts, honesty, precise description, like how raw broccoli smells like feet. Ask Jessica's daughter. But I say, if we're going to be spreading radical woke ideology, let's aim higher. My proposal, let's make knitting a graduation requirement. Yay! Hear me out. Okay. Knitting teaches patience. It combats fast fashion.
True.
And you can't doom scroll while you knit. So let's indoctrinate the youth with anti-capitalist women's work for all.
Yeah.
All right, stay with me here. Imagine these manosphere influencer bros. Imagine if they had to knit all of their own outfits, right? First, they'll be showing up to the gym with hand-knitted sweatbands. And then pretty soon their live streams will be full of bros hanging out on bench presses, trading tips about optimal needle weight to yarn size ratios, how to keep an even tension while knitting in the round, and the best yarns to optimize their looks, maximize their looks. Bro, today we're going deep on protein-based fibers. We're talking quality merino, silk, and mohair. As they hype each other up to escape the system and be their own bosses, they'll have to start spinning their own yarn. Pretty soon, it'll be all fiber maxing. Raising their own sheep, silkworms, and Angora goats. What's going to attract a high-value woman? Maximum staple length. Spin that fiber long and thick. Hot. I mean, I'm gay, but I can't resist the insulating power of a wool sweater. I knit my nephew Jack a hat when he was born. It was really cute. And allow me to fiber max for a moment. Because I'm really committing to doing things the slow way, I dyed the wool myself in goldenrod and red cabbage. And because I'm a radical woke professor, I did put a spell in there to make him a queer socialist witch. His parents were like, sure. They live in Minneapolis. And unfortunately, he did grow out of that hat in like 2 minutes, kids. But it's still fun to watch him grow up and see who he'll become, regardless, spells or no. He's 3 now, and he's really into gnomes. Like, you know how people will make trees look like little gnomes? They'll put a little house on the trunk, maybe a couple of windows, a little path outside. Every time he sees one, he squats down and knocks to say hello to the gnomes. So cute, right? Some of you may have heard that Minneapolis, where he lives, that it was a hard winter there, right? So people in power were like really upset about the fact that there's people from different countries and different cultures, different languages living side by side. And the thing is, it's true that these days, gnomes are popping up everywhere. I mean, we're seeing cave gnomes, forest gnomes, garden gnomes. No one knows where they're coming from. You can't understand a word they say. And they stubbornly resist assimilation, insisting on wearing those like weird little outfits. But before you get too upset, before we get too upset, we might remember that maybe they wouldn't have to migrate to our cities if we weren't destroying their homes with fracking. Their caves, if we weren't chopping down their forests or poisoning their gardens with our pesticides. Jack knows better. Jack is welcoming. He wants more gnome neighbors. Like recently, in a park near his house, he saw a hollow in a tree. No gnome in it. A gnome without a home. A gnomeless home. And he ran up to it shouting, "Gnome, gnome, gnome." So his grandparents, my parents, went and got him a gnome from the dollar store to put in the tree. That gnome was from China. So as far as Jack is concerned, all gnomes are welcome. But except for Christie's gnomes. So for solstice, I did some spells with Jack to protect what we love and invite in what we hope for. So I thought we could end by doing some spells together. What do you guys think? Are you into it?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So for Zoom doesn't like you to do magic. So I have to like change a setting for you guys to be able to hear me, but I figured it out, I think. Okay. So for context, I'm used to adapting a lesson to the level of my students, but haven't done a lot of spells for 3-year-olds. So I had to draw on his own gestures and make it big and silly. Okay. So part 1, we'll practice the parts. There's 2 parts of the spell. We cast out what we don't want by saying, "Stop it," and putting our hands out like that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, stop it. All right, great. You guys look great. Okay, and then for part 2, we welcome in what we do want by going like this. All right, 1, 2, 3. Cool. You guys, yeah, you're doing great. All right, so to Christie's gnomes, to Tom Gnomon, to all those who are snatching our neighbors and spreading fear and hatred, we say, stop it! And to all the other gnomes, to the immigrants and trans people and queer people, to anyone who wants to care for this earth and each other and knit together, we say, welcome. Thank you. That's all.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Great job! Yay, Emily!
Yay!
Beautiful. Please pop into chat with something that you liked from Emily, let's have a big round of applause. Unmute, big round of applause for Emily. Woo! Hey, and thank you, Emma. Good wing person. Okay, so we got one last act of the evening, and we are after Allison. Now, Allison, I know you're laid back, but you got to promise to amp up the energy just a little bit to be a good designated laugher for Andrew. Can you handle that? We're going to swear you in. Okay, awesome. So I state your name.
Allison.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To be an energetic.
To be an energetic.
Designated laugher.
Designated laugher.
For the fabulous Andrew.
For the fabulous Andrew.
Awesome. You've been sworn in. Thank you very much. Okay. Everybody, please welcome your last act of the evening, Andrew. Woo!
Yeah! Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Hi there.
Andrew.
Well, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my name is Andrew Rasmussen, and I'm an apprentice woke joker and an ecological alchemist. And I have a master's in spiritual psychology that I got from the University of Santa Monica, which is like a regular university, except when you graduate, instead of getting a license to perform psychology, you get a hug with an uncomfortably long eye contact and a tuition payment plan. But in LA, we don't call this unemployment. It's energetic availability. We're never broke. We're in manifestation phase. Right? Some grads are privileged to not have to work, and they apply these skills to process the karmic burden of having a trust fund or a large divorce settlement. Gandhi called this one of the deadly sins, but we call it abundance, which is Sanskrit for my parents did really well in real estate. And at the University of Santa Monica, I learned that the only real sin is judging people or things as unworthy of love, especially ourselves. Because judgments like this cause so much suffering. You know, it's palpable. I mean, I think we all feel it, right? All the projection, all the online trolling, and all the hate, right? I'm done with all the poopy-headed, name-calling trolls. It just makes me sick. I like to punch them in the throat chakra. But no judgment, no judgment. I'm just very aware of how pathetically unconscious they are. And my school trained us in the art of manifesting, like how to manifest a career in a field nobody ever asked for, like animal communication gestalt therapist or inner child play care facilitator. And my favorite, which is a $2,420 course on detaching from materialism with a designer swag bag and a payment plan. I do realize that University of Santa Monica is a little bit culty in some ways because, you know, we have our own language. The organization revolves around the founders. There's even a wait list to volunteer. But it's like a cult the way I always wished one would be, you know, with no poison Kool-Aid, no ATF raids, no messianic leaders. There's a sweet, loving family I could be part of as long as I can afford it. Not a cult that's hard to break free from. All you have to do is stop making monthly financial energy contributions to the tuition payment portal. At the University of Santa Monica, I learned that comparing myself to others is one of the leading causes of sadness. So I practiced unconditionally loving myself for who I am, just as I am, and drop all the comparisons. And now I am very pleased to share that I am objectively much better at this than most people. I also learned to appreciate the truly precious things in life, like relationships, service, or attention. At one time, we had Jack Canfield as a guest speaker, and he looked me deep into my aura, and he said, "If you stay on this path, you could be a billionaire soon. But before I went to a fake grad school to learn real life skills, I was fascinated by real magic that brings forward powers inside of us that we don't even know we have. I loved learning about wizards and witches, alchemy, because I thought it would be so cool to know the secret to make things happen with a minimal amount of physical effort. So I got a degree in engineering, and now I can design systems that don't work on the physical or etheric planes of existence. I did a semester in Nepal and worked with Nepali NGOs to design and build a biogas digester, which is like alchemy, turning manure into fuel and fertilizer. Mm-hmm. And when I returned to California, I manifested the next level of alchemy, turning celebrity waste into gold, designing sewage systems in Malibu, California. Our motto was, your shit is our bread and butter. Which I thought that was pretty magical, because when I manifested a master's degree, it didn't get me shit. So some of our Malibu clients were the type that thought their shit don't stink. I could tell you that I have direct olfactory evidence that their shit does in fact stink. In LA, I'm part of a culture jamming comedy activist group we called the Billionaires for Bush or Gore. My character moniker is Filthy Rich. We culture jam in tuxedos and top hats, chanting plutocratic slogans like welfare for the wealthy, keep our profits healthy. What do we want? Child labor. How do we want it? Cheap. Even the police couldn't hold back their smiles and laughter. And I think comedy is maybe that magic I've been looking for, because it opens up people when nothing else can. That's why I call myself an apprentice woke comedian. I don't do stand-up, I do wake up. Most people only need to hear my jokes one time to never sleep again. And if you didn't laugh, maybe you just weren't ready for this. No judgment. I'll manifest some better jokes. Thank you, and good night.
All right.
Awesome. Please manifest some laughter. Unmute. Fantastic. Really well done. Okay. Have you guys had a good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are? Have you had a good time? Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I got 2 links for you, and then we're going to do a group bow. Tony, do you have those links handy? And please put into chat a line that you really liked from Andrew's. It's really nice to have these. You love Climate Psychology Alliance North America and want to give even more. There's a donation link that we're just about to pop into chat. And if you'd like to join the course that these gorgeous people have all taken with me for 6 weeks before this, there are 2 places left on the next public one, and I would love to work with you. So both those links are coming up. Sustainable Stand Up and CPA NA, the donation one. Thank you, everybody who has been a fabulous designated laugher. We had Allison, and you were not laid back. You were in there with the joke, with the laughter. That was awesome. We had Emma, we had Ariana, we had Corey, and Jen B, and Kat, and Amanda. Thank you all very much. We are going to now do a group bow for you. So I'm going to, let's see, spotlight. Okay, we are going to do a group bow, which is logistically challenging on Zoom, but we're going to go for it. Okay, so can everybody put their hands there? And everybody else, unmute and give us a round of applause. Thank you so much for today's show.
Yay!
Good job, everyone. Nice. Great work.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Keep going, exactly. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to so if we were doing this at a pub or at a bar, we would hang out at the bar afterwards, but we don't have that, but we do have breakout rooms. So if you loved one of the acts, if you have known them for years, there are breakout rooms for each of the acts. And you can also stay and hang out with, I'm going to go into, you're welcome to go, and thank you so much for being here. But if you want to like hang out for 15 minutes with the lovely stars who have just starred, go into their breakout room. You should be able to choose the one that you want. And if you want to hang out with me and Tony here, you're very welcome to. Thank you so much again, and thank you to CPA NA, sorry, dyslexic, for being an amazing organization. And thank you, Tony, for being an amazing tech person. Thank you very much.
Tony.
Yes,
Tony. Woo!
Awesome. Okay. And then feel free to hang out with people or have a lovely day. Up to
All
you.
right.
Well done, everybody.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Melina and Tony, and all of the comedians. That was incredible. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I'm so glad you got to see it too.
Thanks, Jenny.
Lovely.